Sunday! Every Sunday, side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Ray Garino and Joe D calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Hear relevant news, biased opinion, and outright nonsense regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp! With mechanical trickery never before broadcast over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrilled to the explosive tension as Ray and Joe cuss each other down track, barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and so much more at high noon this Sunday on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and the Live Eat, Ray Garino and Joe D. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHBC. Take the Hempstead Turnpike to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the no parking on the expressway and no express service on the Parkway sign. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Either!
All right, you have tuned into Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show. You're not at a Memorial Day parade. You are listening to us from some electronic device. Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer. We have our tech guy in the clouds over here running our other electronics for us. Jim is down there, so we're here. We're large and in charge on this Memorial Day. We want to remember our veterans, past and present, and we're just going to talk cars from here on in. We're going to have a good time. We have a few little surprises planned, I hope, if they work right. Chris, how's everything this week for you?
Oh, pretty good, Ray. Everything was fun. We did a little bit of car work, not a heck of a lot. I did more ordering than anything else, but I did have something I wanted to bring up, and I was wondering if you would be able to chew on this with me.
Sure.
I'm wondering about Armor All.
Oh, boy.
Right? We're here in the spring. Everybody's out there doing their cars and cleaning everything up and everything. And then I thought about Armor All. And now I wondered, and I'm going to ask you the question and see if you could wrap a thought around this. Are you an Armor All guy?
No.
Okay.
At one point in time, probably when I worked in an auto parts store, which is way back a long time ago,
right.
I probably was, because we had it. I had it available to me. But it, the early Armor All formulation it left that kind of film, and dust would stick to it, and it was kind of slimy and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then I heard bad things about it, where there was a kind of a negative campaign about it, where it would crack dashboards and cause all sorts of havoc. Now you get a call back from detailing, and all the hoses are done with Armor All.
Right. We were talking about detailing last week, but now the next question is, because I had to ponder this further.
Okay.
Do you know an Armor All guy?
Not that I could think of.
Car guys you don't know a car guy that's still an Armor All guy?
I can't say that I do.
Really?
But I do know this. Maybe I do and don't know it, because I know Armor All now makes new formulations of Armor All. There's like a matte finish.
We can't even call it Armor All anymore. We have to, because we're just pushing a product here, which we don't want to do.
Right.
But we should call it like what? Cooking oil protectant?
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what you want to call it. But, you don't know. You really cannot say, like, out of the sea of car guys that you cannot point out one or two of them in your mind, not naming any names, that you would say, yeah, that guy is an oily protectant kind of guy.
I would go with you if I had to pick it. And I'll tell you something. 16 years ago, when I got my Fiat Spider, I made friends with this fellow, Mike Vitti, up in Garden City, and I found out his name is actually Michelangelo Vitti. He's really Italian.
Oh boy!
He told me, we were talking about how to preserve. He saw my car and said, the dashboard, it's not a crack. It's very nice. It's no crack.
You got no crack.
Yeah. I said, the car was obviously taken care of and kept out of the sun. Because at the two round vents, like on a BMW, they have those round defroster vents.
Sure.
The cracks start right there, and they get chasm. They become chasms.
Yeah.
So he says, you know how to fix it and make sure it don't crack in the fuel. I'm like, no, how, what, Mike? Armor All? No, don't use the Armor All. I'm like, what? He says, you got to use the baby oil. You got to use the baby oil.
Baby oil.
Yeah.
Baby oil.
Baby oil.
That you have right there. And this, we don't plan this. You actually reach around and pick up a bottle of baby oil?
Hey, if you can't grab a bottle of baby oil and a reach around, what can you do? So anyway, I digress. That's another show. A topic for another show, okay?
I'm sorry I just said that.
Oh, you're hot. You're a little loud. Kick your audio down. You're blasting everybody out. So that was Mike's theory, was use of the baby oil. And truthfully, I think what I did do at one point is I got at a car show a gift pack of, like it was a wash bucket and a bunch of detail stuff. And then there was Armor All wipes. Ooh. And I think I used the wipes, and then I used some other ones like leather conditioning wipes.
But did you use the wipes on the car?
Well, I might have, yeah. Probably got around to it later, yeah. Definitely. But so yeah, and now let me just to clarify, like the dashboard on my Mazda has this. Yours may have it too. It's almost like a perforated pattern where it's not smooth, and I think they do that to so you don't get light glaring up into the windshield. I think they do that for that reason. And those, not only my wife's cars, her Cruise is the same thing. Not only is it hard to clean, you can't get into all those little perforations. Mm-hmm. It doesn't lend itself to like an old vinyl dash. So
no, that is true. But on my that little LeBaron that I have, I can't tell you the glare I am getting off the top of the dashboard. It's almost blinding when it reflects off the windshield and into your stream of consciousness, basically. And I have to figure out how to do maybe like a piece of carpet or something to put over it because the glare is just unbearable. Maybe someone used that oily protectant on it at one time, but it certainly wasn't me. But just the analysis alone, and I'm trying to figure this out, there are car guys or we should say oily protectant guys, that you would think they are, but they're really not. And you said me. Yeah. But I think I am not the oily protectant guy. I'll keep my car clean, but I have not gotten to that stage. I don't have that much time. I don't even have that much time to wax a car, let alone put a protectant on it of some sort.
I have to tell you, I want to put a big shout out not only to the vets over there, but to our buddy Pirate Paul, who again sat with us and helped us out with some technical issues last night.
Yes,
great asset, and we thank you, Paul. We go out to you, but Paul weighed in and said that he's not an Armor All guy either, although he's got an ancient 1980s Armor All box. And Jeep and Al, he had said that the Armor All formula is different today. Because the plastics in the cars have changed, so I think I'm right with that. They did change their formulation. They moved ahead with the times.
I remember when I was a kid, and please stop me if I told this story before. I probably told it numerous times. My father was a huge proponent of any of those oily protectants, and he used one time on the top of his Caddy Seville, on the vinyl top, he used Son of a Gun from STP.
I remember that stuff, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And we couldn't keep windshield wipers on the car.
Yeah.
Because the stuff would run down the windshield at every rainstorm.
Yeah.
Like it sat, the protectant sat on the vinyl top, and the second water hit it, it would run off and down the windshield and down the glass. And then you turn the windshield wipers on, and here comes the sound effect. You hear this.
Right.
Over and over again, and we'd be like, "What? Stop, please!"
Yeah, terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I one time went out there with rubbing alcohol and went over the windshield with rubbing alcohol just to get that stuff off the windshield, and it still was not making the windshield wipers happy. But that's when I realized I'm done with this stuff.
Something I have a can of upstairs, but I haven't used. It's the stuff called Barkeeper's Friend.
Oh, yeah, you talked me into that stuff.
Yeah, they use it in bars, hence the name, to clean the stainless steel and all. And that's great on windshields because it's kind of like a micro polish, and it'll break like hard water stains and all. But I tell you what, if Al has ideas about this, so does Paul. If you have an idea about how you like to condition your dash, give us a call at 516-256-9510, and we'll talk about it.
Sure.
And you should also be checking us out, following us on our social media platforms on motormouthradio.com. Motormouth Radio is also on Twitter and Facebook under the same names, Faccia Bruta, as we like to call it. And on Instagram, Joe's favorite, it's real _Motormouth Radio. And we have a survey up there that we want people to weigh in on whether or not we should keep our Spotify page going or not. So check it out. It's right on the front page of the website. You can see it there. And just weigh in. It's only good for another couple of days, and then it goes into obscurity. So.
Right. Your vote counts.
So far, we've got a couple. So
your vote counts here at Motormouth Radio. But yeah, that has been my analysis lately. I've been looking around the neighborhoods and watching people clean their cars and detail them. And I had a laugh. I had a buddy of mine. He had said to me, "What are you doing now that you're home all the time?" I said, "I'm so frustrated because we don't drive anywhere. Right? Everybody's home." So I've been telling him. I said, I'm working on cars that I no longer drive. And there was this pause, and he said, "What's changed? You've always worked on cars you don't drive."
Right. I took my car out yesterday to give it for a car wash. Basically, I drove it in the rain.
Yeah.
I had to run down to the shop and pick up my wheel well moldings that I now have to have polished. So I said, good time to take the car out and clean the pollen off it that it accumulated sitting in the street.
Yeah. Which car did you take out?
The Mazda. I took my car.
Oh, okay.
Just
okay.
grabbed it and went.
Uh-huh.
You know.
The parts getter.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I went and got parts.
I can't believe that car is. You are a testament to longevity with that car, because I thought that car is like a cat. It has which lives is it on now?
Well, I tell you, it went. If you I do have to think of it that way. It went through a hydrolocked engine early on. It went through getting hit by a teenager in a parking lot.
Right.
I ran it off the side of the road, almost scared the hell out of my wife in the snow, and I still think I have a bad rear wheel bearing because of it. I haven't gotten around to diagnosing it. And yeah, it just keeps coming back. I mean, the thing runs like a watch. Those Mazdas, any foreign car, modern foreign car runs really well. It's doing something now that I just read about. It's driving me nuts. I read it in a motor magazine. Every once in a while, you'll be sitting idling, and the car's a 5-speed, so I have it neutral, and I just get a slight, like a little roughness in the idle. The car just feels like it's running just a little bit rough. You rev it, it doesn't make a difference. It drives fine. Right. And at other times, it doesn't do it. And I just read in a motor magazine, they were talking about foreign car repair, and one of the guys was saying, as he used it as a piece of his article and said, as our cars get older and sometimes they do strange things that we can't explain, like a little bit of a brake noise, or sometimes they run just a little rough, and then you put a scan tool on them, and that's what I did. I went out and I put the scanner on the thing. Right. I used a BDM, in fact, and couldn't find no codes, couldn't find any errant injector firings. There was nothing wrong in any of the scan data, but the car just ran a little bit rough, just idles a little bit weird sometimes. And it's just something that you have to accept, I think.
Well, is there any sort of fuel injector cleaner that you can dump in there just for poops and giggles? And you have StarTron.
StarTron.
You have right there on your... Well, I'd love to see the peripheral...
Or I use Gatorade. Like, now you and Louis Lee, this is what the plane and traffic guys say. Like, reach them one thing away and get whatever you want. No, I can't get whatever I want, but
it cracks me up. You got a ham sandwich there or something like that?
Oh, but I'll have to eat later. We did that the other week. We all had lunch after the show. Right. No, but I have candy. I have I have candy.
That is amazing. And this is what I always would laugh over every time we did the show in the early days before technology, when we were really at a radio station. And you would come in with props. Right. And it used to crack me up after a while. And that's why I started videoing them. And this was back in 2012, 2013. And I would bring a video camera in because I knew you were going to come in with props. And those videos are now up online, thankfully, that you can see them on Motormouth Radio. And to see us back in the old days when I would actually video you with props coming in, which I thought was hysterical.
And so people should know we do have a YouTube channel, Motor Mouth Radio. There's a link on the website. We actually have 2 of them, and we're going to try to integrate the 2 so that the old videos, I see that old feed on my TV on the YouTube channel, but we're going to try and integrate those because there was some really good stuff there.
Oh yeah, totally.
And really, what it was something we might have talked about one week. Well, back then we did 2 shows a week, so
right.
It gave me a chance to say, okay, we were talking about brake lines, so let me bring in some Bendaflex brake lines, show how to bend it.
Yeah, and you would bring in the lines, and I was getting tired of explaining what you were doing because Ray, you still hadn't grasped the thought that radio is not a visual medium.
We used to spray things. used to spray solvents. I think I filled the studio once with brake cleaner.
Brake cleaner, yes. And I thought Kim was going to fall down. She walked into this because the whole studio smelled of brake cleaner because it was the infamous sticky steering wheel. And then, it was funny. It was one of those things, and I always tell the story. I tell people all the time that you're driving along one day and it just whatever it was, the steering wheel just got sticky.
Right.
And I'm like, how do I know we do a radio show about cars, but it's like, how do I explain something like this to my longtime radio colleague here? How do I say, what, Ray? And I figured one day, I told you about my rusty nuts. I could tell you about my sticky steering wheel. Right. So that's what I did. I sat down and went, Ray, I got a personal problem.
What's that, Chris?
My steering wheel's sticky.
Yeah.
And then it was the next week you came in with the steering wheel and the brake cleaner and proceeded to remedy the situation right there in the studio. And I had to explain the whole thing. But thankfully I had the video camera, and there is video of it. And we have a ton of hits, I think.
That was the biggest hit. And I'll tell you something. If I get up out of this chair, I can go 15 feet and get that exact steering wheel. And I can stop off at the parts room next to it and get a can of brake cleaner. I can recreate that right now if I had to. So
good.
So, I want to tell you about something. It's kind of cool. There's most other states have opened up. We're maybe due by Wednesday on Long Island. But our good friend Medical Man Brian is down at a show, an impromptu show at a shopping center in Maryland. He's going to call and talk about that. But Clay Kuhn from Kuhn Trucking down in Mississippi, another friend of ours, he had a big gathering yesterday. He had the Matco guy, the Mac guy, Snap-on guy couldn't make it, and a bunch of his friends. It was a YouTube gathering of other YouTubers because he's big in that. And they were posting stuff online last night. I got to watch some of it. And Clay had a really nice gathering. They had a lot of door prizes, a lot of food, a lot of freebies, and just to get the guys together. So the country, the car guys are coming out again, which is, I'm happy to see it, truthfully.
And they're actually doing the very same thing up here by me. Saturdays they're just driving. They're going back to cruising again, which is hysterical. I mean, we used to do this years ago because no one had technology at the time, and you cruised around to go look for your friends. That's all we did was look for people. I think we spent most of our adolescence just driving around looking for people and happened to be cruising and enjoying it. And now they're doing it all over again up here by me. They're all up on the major roads, just driving around with their old cars. And I think it's wonderful that it's starting to come back again.
Even they're not cruising 86th.
Hey, cruising 86th Street. Yeah, I was a major player.
Oh, you were. That's right.
I was a major player. Yeah. Don't really want to remember those times.
It's good times. That's all good stuff.
I heard that there was supposed to be a documentary.
Yes, I heard that
on cruising 86th Street in Brooklyn, New York. And we have a call. Let's do this and say hi. You're on with the Motormouths.
Hey guys, what's going on? Say Macho Man Brian.
Hey Brian.
How are you?
How you guys doing?
We're doing well. How do we sound? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Sounds good.
You sound so close, but yet so far away.
Brian, you got to reliven the car guy spirit and tell us what you're doing today, because I think this is a great story.
We're still supposedly in lockdown, but I noticed, like, 2 weeks ago, I would hear some of the hot rods roll by the house. And so last week I got up early and went up to our local shopping center, and there was probably 15, 20 cars up there.
Wow.
And so today I decided to see again, and it's a little overcast down here today, but there was about, 15 cars, and I guess the guys are tired. Everybody's tired of being locked in and take the car out for a ride. So it was good, smelling a little bit of fuel, smelling some tire.
Nice.
It was a good Sunday so far.
Very
so
cool.
tell the listeners that are on now about that car that you sent me the picture of, that Oldsmobile, because that thing is wild.
Yeah, a buddy of mine has a 66 Oldsmobile, and he was originally going to put a Cummins in it, but came across a Duramax and put the Duramax in there.
Diesel?
And it's a diesel, yeah. And
why wasn't the Olds engine good enough for him?
he just wanted to do something different, and that was different. Wow.
Right.
So it was fairly interesting. He's right now somewhere around 400 horses. They told him he'd tear the transmission up, so he's got to redo. He was supposedly during the winter time, if we had a winter, we really didn't have a winter this year, that he was going to pull it out and put redo a transmission.
Right.
But he estimating around 650 would be the horsepower when he gets done with it.
And what transmission is in the car now that he's using?
I don't know. It's a what is it? A 4L88 or I don't know. Yeah,
okay.
Something like that. It's but the air conditioning works in it. I mean, it's like I said, it's definitely different.
What kind of Oldsmobile is it, Brian? It's got to be a big one. It's got to be a 98 or an 88, right?
I can't remember what it said on the side. It's a full size. It's a big old boat.
Yeah, I thought it was Delta. I thought it was a Delta 88, and let me see here if I can. There's one. I'd have to bend that. I think it says a Jetway. It starts with a J. So is it a Jetway?
There's either right. There's a Jetfire.
It's a Jetfire. It's on the lower lip of the quarter panel, but you really can't see it. But yeah, it's a full size Olds.
Yeah,
big car.
Wow. And now this is a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I wanted to. I meant to take a picture because the best part of the car really is the 2.5-inch exhaust pipe coming out of the back. It's just one single pipe, and when he drives by, everybody does the double take because it's like, was that a diesel? Is that a diesel? They just.
Right.
It's not really loud like a diesel, but people are just kind of, you can smell it when it goes by.
I'm sure.
Really interesting.
I wonder how he got that because they're not small engines, are they? They're pretty.
It's
big.
full size.
Yeah, and you got that thing sitting.
Oh yeah.
Sitting between the wheel wells of we're not talking about a car with a high hood line. That's got a.
Well, he's got a hood scoop on it. I mean, he had to fabricate a scoop on the front of it.
I'm sure he did.
And but like I said, it's fairly interesting, and hopefully, I went to school with the guy, and hopefully, I like to see him hold on to. He always gets some, builds and sells, and does a couple project cars. But it's definitely interesting, and it's different for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Wow.
Brian, did he build that car with Matco tools?
A little bit of everything. I won't take we can't take all the credit, but
you can
a little bit of everything for that.
Hey, I've been seeing online these new. There's a couple new Matco things that really caught my eye. There was some extractors, and there was what the hell was the other one? I can't remember now. I don't remember. But it's good to see.
We have our new we have our new baby blue. It's like a teal almost color coming out. So we'll have ratchets and toolboxes, that new teal color. It's a light blue. And the newest thing that I'm really waiting to get, and it should be, hopefully it will break the habit of using a screwdriver for a pry bar.
Yes. What? That's my whole career, Brian.
Yeah, I know. But we have some new pry bars that are the size of a screwdriver. So hopefully that will eliminate all the broken tips that I have to warranty. Our
buddy Clay,
dogs new tricks.
Our buddy Clay from Kuhn Trucking did a video on that, and he showed them the pocket size. He called them, he made the reference about screwdrivers, and then he showed a couple others that were even longer. But it's a 2-pack. One is a straight, and one is an angle. And I'm trying to think, I guess in tight spaces that'd be really good to have. So again, it's just good that tool companies are responding to what people want to do and how mechanics and technicians work on their cars. It's a good thing. So
actually, there's a new one, Ray, and I think it's a 4-piece or 3-piece.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually like the size of a screwdriver, but they're reinforced or thicker shaft.
Very good.
But they just came out. I'm waiting for mine. Hopefully, I can do a little bit on my Instagram to show off.
Brian, I have screwdrivers that they're not just the blade is rounded at the edges for prying things that you don't want to scratch.
Yeah. That becomes a dedicated tool, and that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, chrome moldings, things like that. Boy, you get in there with one of those screwdrivers with the rounded. You're fine. You're not scratching the paint with those things. No.
No, of course not.
You're denting the fender, but you're not scratching the paint.
I've had people look at some of my customized tools and said, "You took a torch and bent a snap-on screwdriver?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because that's what I had." And that's what I had to bend. Sure, I got some Craftsmans that are bent, and I got some no-names that are bent. But yeah, sometimes that's the right thing to use, and that's what you do,
Mm-hmm.
You're not trading it, you're keeping it. So
very true. Yeah. Even if you use that tool for one job and one job only.
Right.
That's what it's there for. That's for sure.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for calling. We're going to run. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break, and then we got a few other people want to get in on the line, so we will we'll take care of that.
No problem. It was good talking to you guys, and just to let you all know, I'm not an Armor All guy. No way.
Thank you,
All
Brian.
right, guys. Take care.
Okay, Brian.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right.
516-256-9510 is the phone number. Get a hold of us here at Motormouth Radio, but we are going to take a bottom of the hour break, aren't we?
We are going to do that. Okay. Let me see if we can choreograph this with our other half. This is so weird doing things like from 3 different places, but
yes.
Let's see if it works. So we will be back in a few minutes on Motormouth Radio with your host, Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer. We'll have more to talk about and maybe a few more phone calls on 90.3 WHPC. This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limbrook and Oceanside. We'll remind you that New York State law says you always have the right to choose the shop where you have your car fixed. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, including 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with rental car arrangements if needed. We're considered an essential business and are still open, providing touchless drop-off and pickup services. And yes, se habla Espanol. More information is available by calling 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 5 for 2 hours of revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve K, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 5. on Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
It's Tuesday night at 8. Do you know where your children are?
It's not Tuesday night at 8 right now.
It's 8 p.m. somewhere. It's time for the Rock Binge.
But it's not 8 p.m. here. What's the Rock Binge?
I'm ready! You know, the Rock Binge, where it plays modern rock and alternative music in a class of its own, with the latest rock news, too. Is it Tuesday night at 8 yet?
No. The show sounds cool and all, but maybe you need to buy a new watch or something?
No, I do not need a new watch. I just can't wait for it to be Tuesday night at 8. Why would you want to miss out on classic SpongeBob lines or this amazing voice?
All right, I get it. All right, I'll listen, I promise.
All right, is it Tuesday night at 8 now?
No, it's not.
How about now?
Stop asking.
You gotta turn on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
All right, forget it. If you can't beat them, join them. Is it Tuesday night at 8 now?
Let me check my watch. Nope, not yet.
Wait.
We're having a ball today on this fine Memorial Day. Give us a call, 516-256-9510. I know we have Clay down in Mississippi. He actually told me, Chris, that he has people stayed over from his event last night.
Stayed over?
Well, I guess, you know what? The party starts going, and after it's like having a party at your house. Like, some people really shouldn't be driving home. You know, they should just
okay,
kind of hang out. So,
oh boy.
So that's what was going on. Yeah.
So you want to take a call, or you got something to do?
Absolutely, please.
All right, let's go to the phones and go to the fun and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
This is Rusty. How are you?
Hey, Rusty.
Hey, Rusty.
Hey, what's happening? How's everything going?
Doing well. How are you?
We're hanging out. We're wishing there was India on today.
Yeah. Well, I think
and in reality, in my house there will be, because we're going to watch 96. I got it on tape.
Okay. I was going to say, I think Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is on channel 43. But
yeah, well, it's not the same.
Actually,
so,
I was going to say, Rusty, Chris missed out on the last big call, an event we had from you guys, where you and Debbie, where you did the pumpkin races at Halloween.
Yes, that was the last time we spoke, I believe.
So Chris had missed out on that. Chris, Rusty, of course, you met Rusty and Debbie at our 10th anniversary party at the junkyard.
Sure did. Yeah, remember that.
Yeah.
Which was 10 years ago, mind you.
You're right, it is 10 years ago.
That's insane. Yeah.
So
we had the go-kart. We had the go-kart there.
Right.
And Rusty is still into the go-karting and being competitive and all that cool stuff, which is great. So
talk about the pump. What was the happen with the pumpkin send-off? What was that about?
Oh, well, the pumpkin race was something that we that pumpkin race was something that my neighbors put on every year, and so I've been trying to win it as much as possible. Yeah, you know, I want to beat the little kids in my neighborhood really badly. So last year I built a pumpkin, very high-tech pumpkin. It had side pods, it had a fin on the back, it had polished axles, model airplane tires, and it just absolutely destroyed them last year. It was great.
So you're telling me, like, is this almost like one of those, what do they call those soapbox cars, those model cars that you would roll down a hill? Is this similar to that? Only you do this with pumpkins.
You have to start out with a real pumpkin, and then an actual live pumpkin, and you put axles through it, and then we roll them down a hill. There's nobody driving it, but they're going down a pretty steep hill, and if they don't go pretty much perfectly straight, they hit the curb and they explode into a million pieces. It's great. Or they bend the axle, but most of the time they just come undone. It looks like a Formula One car hitting the wall.
I'm loving this.
I mean, pieces fly in every direction.
And as the little girls are crying, Rusty is laughing.
I'm totally picturing this and loving it.
Yeah, they get about 20, 30 entries every year. It goes on all afternoon. It's great. They do elimination rounds, like drag racing. So you you race against like two other pumpkins to start with, and the two that do the best advance to the next round, and so on and so forth, until you come down to two pumpkins at the end.
This is hysterical.
So last year we won it for the second time in 3 attempts. So that was pretty good.
Wow, I am totally impressed. Who thought of this?
It started in California, and they have one out there, I think, in Venice, California, or something, where they get hundreds of entries. It's tremendous.
Really? This is just spectacular. And now, tell me where this is held. Where do you...
I live in Glen Head. It's right around the corner from my house.
Oh, amazing.
And it's basically... The person that puts it on doesn't really want it to get too big. She wants to try and keep it like a local neighborhood thing, but we promoted it last year anyway. She called it.
Yeah, so they didn't have any media attention. It wasn't in Newsday. But Rusty goes on the radio and tells everybody about it. You know?
I was going to say, no one's listening to this show, so it's still going to be a local event.
Yeah.
Rusty's nothing to worry about.
Anyway.
That's fantastic. And you were successful this year, in this October? You were you beat the little kids and ran off victorious?
And all their fathers and everybody. Yeah, it was great.
I love it, Rusty. You're a true competitor. That's great.
I did actually, though, my wife just told me to say that I did actually give my trophy to the little girl that finished second because I felt bad.
Well, I hope you got a picture of that.
Oh yeah, we got everything. We got it on video.
I am loving this. The racing pumpkin event.
If I can get the man behind the curtain to let me share the screen, I'll show you a picture of it.
That is amazing. I am just totally blown away by it. And it happens, I'm assuming, every October. Everybody gets together.
Yeah. I think it's the week before or the week after Halloween. I'm not totally positive of that.
Just for the fact that it's so much better than a soapbox derby car, just for the fact that the cars actually explode.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, you wouldn't believe how violent crashes are.
Well, and then some people put side
wall. The wall is cobblestone. It's cobblestone. So when they hit it, the axles and the wheels just dig into it, and the pumpkins just explode. I mean, pieces go flying and bouncing down the track. Axles with tires go separate from the pumpkins and stuff. It looks like, you remember Indy in '66 when they had that tremendous crash on the straightaway and all the wheels and tires were...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that on a smaller scale.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That is extreme. And just for the fact that there's carnage and destruction in this makes me want to do it even that much more.
Oh, well, definitely. I believe she is going to do it again this year. Last year she was saying it might have been the last race, but I believe she's going to do it at least one more time. So I'll let you know if it's happening.
Rusty, if there's any video of this, please, we
look at the screen, Chris.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it now, and I'm hysterical.
There it is.
But I mean, if there's video, if Rusty has any video that we can post online, October's right around the corner. So that would be great. We would love to see this. We'd love to, Ray. This would be a great color commentary. We could do like.
You could do a live remote from the pumpkin race.
Now there's a live remote I would do.
Yep.
Yeah, you're doing it now, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, during the event, as the event is going on, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
We did post that on our Facebook and Instagram accounts back then, so we did share it. So
okay. Yeah,
cool stuff.
Very cool.
All right, Rusty, thank you for that update, because that is I wanted Chris to get up to speed on that.
Okay. But I have two other things I wanted to talk to you quickly.
Sure.
First of all, a good Armor All story. Years ago, we took our '51 Chevy in to be detailed, and then we drove it up to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And along the way, it rained like crazy, and the rain leaks down on the pedals, and the guy armor-rolled the pedals. And let me tell you, trying to work the clutch and the brake on a '51 Chevy with wet armor-rolled pedals, it was like was like walking on oiled ice up the side of a mountain.
That's happened to me a couple times at the shop where I'll have to move a car, and it may be like a rainy day, and you're in the shop. There's always stuff on the floor, and you get in, and the car's a stick, and you feel your feet like shift on the pedals, and you're like, because like the lift is there, the bench is there, your coworker is there, and it's a small space. It's scary. You're right.
Yeah, and on that truck, you got to step on the. There's no assist on the brakes or anything, and that's just drum brakes. So when you step on the brakes, you got to step on the brakes, and my foot was slipping and sliding off the brakes, onto the clutch, onto the accelerator. It was insane.
Oh my gosh!
You got to wipe your feet down. You got to just wipe everything. At that point, I think to get the arm roll off is maybe, something like a carburetor cleaner or brake clean or something.
Yeah.
Right.
But we didn't have one, and we were driving in the mountains, so it wasn't any good.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And one more thing, on the truck. Okay, I got it in my driveway now. I've been working on it every morning now. When I start it up, it sounds like it's going to explode for about 15 seconds, and then it runs perfectly. Huh. And I don't know what it is. It's back. It sounds like it's backfire and running rough. It's clanging. It sounds like it's going to blow up any second. And in about 15 seconds of that, it goes away and it runs perfect.
Have you put oil in the crankcase?
No,
there's oil in it.
I'm thinking
there's plenty of oil in it.
The first thing, any cold start on an old vehicle is controlled by the choke. So the choke really has a big part to play. And you know that. I know you know that.
Yeah. The choke works perfectly.
Well, something ain't working perfectly.
I'm wondering if it could be like a weak fuel pump that takes a few seconds to pressurize it, or I don't know.
Noises.
It sounds if it had hydraulic lifters, I would say it was a lifter, but it has solid lifters.
Take a quick video and then email it to us, and we'll take it under advisement.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow morning.
Okay, great.
I'll only do it once a day.
My wife had a Grand Am, and the same thing. Every time when you start the car cold in the morning, it made it ended up it was piston slap, and GM on those 6-cylinder engines had a service bulletin that said piston slap for the first 5 to 8 seconds of running is acceptable. If it doesn't stop it, they said if it doesn't stop after that, then look into it. But 5 to 8 seconds of piston slap was acceptable on those little V6s, and the car is still running today. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know about that because unless they got a thing out from 1951.
No. You need pistons and you need wrist pins is what you need.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would have the original mill, right? Right, it's the original Flathead 6 in this thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not the original one. No, it's a 261. It's a 54, but it's an old Chevy straight 6.
Right. Not Flathead. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
And it was completely rebuilt by somebody who knew what he was doing, and it's run perfectly for the longest time. It's been the only part of the truck that's never given me a problem. Right. And now, out of the blue, happened overnight. No sign whatsoever. The next day, it's out of control.
Wow. Did you change the oil before that? Have you used a different formulation or something anything?
No, not at all. And I pre-fill the filter and all of that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's an oil problem as much as it sounds like it is, because the engine also is misfiring. It's it seems like as soon as pressure comes up, it goes away.
I can't really put a definitive finger on it, but I'm thinking about the distributor. It's just passing through my head right now. I just think on my feet.
It would happen all the time. It could be running lean, like Rusty says. It could be a lean gas issue, and then once the pump catches up, I'm just thinking. And it runs fine, 15 seconds, you rev it, and it's fine, it sounds good, everything's cool, after the 15-second mark, right? After the...
Yeah, and then it'll run absolutely perfectly all day long.
Well, you could put a fuel pressure tester on it initially to see,
Yeah,
that was my probable next next step.
Well, keep us up on it, Rusty. Let us know what's going on, and we'd like to follow you on that, and then hopefully maybe we can come up with some intelligent answers ourselves, although I doubt it.
Well, thanks, Rusty. Thank you for the call.
All right. Take it easy. Bye-bye now.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Chris, I got to say, Clay, the guys down in Mississippi, we have an audience now in Mississippi. All the guys, whoever was, I don't know who's left over. He's got a cool crew of guys down there. These guys are all truck and diesel guys, and they're all mechanics in one way or another. And they are listening to us in Mississippi right now. So
nice.
Put on your Mississippi garb, and actually, we should be drinking with these guys because a little hair in the dog hit you. Yeah,
give me a mason jar. Come on.
I'll get my.
Put that silly Gatorade away.
These guys know how to have fun. I tell you that, they really, really do. Hey, but I want to tell you, we were talking about driving and driving for fun, right?
Right.
Just a little piece I saw in the paper today. If you want to take a vacation after everything opens up, you might want to use your own car because the country's #2 car rental company, Hertz, filed for bankruptcy Friday.
Yeah, because most of their business is in airports, and who's in airports now?
They cited the coronavirus that crippled the global travel as the reason. 102-year-old company, they're based in Estero, Florida. They were unable to get another extension on their debt payments, which they already had. In late March, they shed 12,000 workers and furloughed an additional 4,000 and cut vehicle acquisitions by 90%. So they really went down to like the bone.
Wow.
And they're only second to Avis. I was wondering who the number one was, and it was Avis. So you may want to look ahead if you're going to be renting a car.
Yeah, I guess so.
Take your own.
You bring your own, right? That's for sure. Holy smokes! What a shame.
Yeah.
But that means that one company's down, competition is less, and that means the numbers go up for all of us.
Well, they're actually still operating. That was the other thing that I saw. They're still going to be operating.
Yeah.
They're not. Just because you go file for bankruptcy doesn't mean you shut your doors. They can still operate and take care of business. And I guess the hope is you can get back on your feet and maybe reestablish. So
right.
Hopefully that's not the end for them yet.
And you know what? I mean, it's not the end for all of us. And everything is going to go back to a new normal, but it's going to go back to normal and we'll be fine.
Al reminded me that they're selling off their Corvettes. And that was an article that was out last week, and someone just asked me, like, if you had the money, would you buy one of those yellow Corvettes that Hertz was selling off? And I said, hell no. And why? It's a rental car.
Yeah.
Like, would you buy a rental Corvette?
No.
Like, no.
No, because everybody and their mother that has gotten in that car has said the same thing. Let's see what this baby can do.
Absolutely. Drive it like a rental. Right.
And they drive it like, they beat it like a rental mule. One day, I think I told you a story. One day, my dad shows up with a Monte Carlo, a mid-90s, 95 Monte Carlo. Pulls up, and he gets out of the car all happy. Hey, look at the new car I bought. And this was, the car probably at the time was about maybe 5 years old. So it was, 2000, summer 2000. And he gets out of the car, and I'm looking at it, and I went, I've never seen hubcaps on a Monte Carlo. I've always seen the aluminum road wheels. I said, those are hubcaps. He says, yeah, those are hubcaps. And I open up the door, and it's got like a bench seat.
Wow.
I said, why does this have a bench seat? Usually have buckets and a console in the Monte Carlo. And it's got a shifter on the floor. This one has a shifter on the column.
What year was Monte's, Chris?
This was a 95.
Oh,
and I'm like, look at the car.
I never saw that.
I said, Dad, you bought a rental. And he's like, no, I didn't. He was all bent out of shape. And then finally I popped the trunk, and there was a sticker on the bottom of the trunk with the service intervals written down. I said, congratulations, you bought a rental.
Yeah.
He was so bent over that. He couldn't believe, because he was like the last guy in the world that would buy a rental. No, never. He was the one that taught me. Never buy a rental.
Of course, he needed you to remind him of that.
Exactly. There were two cars my father told me never to buy. Never buy a rental, and never buy a car with a trailer hitch attached to the back of it.
That's right.
Because you towed something with it, and you know it's going to have transmission trouble. He bought two Monte Carlos. The first one was an 84, had a trailer hitch in the back of it, and the second one was the 95, and it was a rental.
And your poor old man had to put up with you twice.
Oh, yeah.
Then again, that's kind of what we call payback. You know? Not to get into the gory details of your childhood, but that was what we call payback, Dad. So, buddy.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It cracked me up. Walked away, hit my head like, what did he do?
Yeah.
But this is coming from an individual that buys old police cars, which are, of course, babied all through their lives.
I'll tell you what else is baby. The phone line. You still have time to get in on this at 516-256-9510. Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer, Motormouth Radio. We're taking your calls.
Let's go to the phones and back to the fun and say, hi, you're on with the Motormouths.
Bob from Rockville Center.
Hey, Bob. What's up, Bob? How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. Look, if Tom doesn't call soon, I'm going to feel like a pumpkin that's thrown an axle.
You need to knock one back, right, Bob?
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, Tom, please call, please.
That's all right. I'll have one with you. Garage. It's Memorial Day. We'll all drink.
Now, you want to hear the baby oil one, or do you want to hear the Opel GT?
Whoa! How about baby oil and an Opel GT? We'll get a lot of sharing on this.
Okay. As long as we're talking about hotel rooms or anything like that, we're okay.
Right.
You had your guest on, I guess, 3 weeks ago, and she was an Opel girl, right?
That's Ilana, yeah.
Ilana, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show. So Thanksgiving recess, we went to my friend Alan's house. Parents were up in New Hampshire, and we stole their brand new butterscotch, non-metallic Opel Manta GT.
Wow.
And it did not go over good. So
it didn't go well.
We're on our way over to the Burger King to pick up the girls who drink beers in the parking lot at Burger King. And as I'm going down the service road by the Bowling Railroad Station, a guy takes a light and he comes into the parking lot, and I smash into him.
Oh, no.
So, it was not good. So no one got hurt, but he was unlicensed, I was unlicensed, and then the phone calls were made, right? And then the parents are still up in New Hampshire. They come down, and when he got in the house, he told his father what happened. His father gave him a punch, and he fell down from the second floor to the first floor landing.
Like through TV.
That's discipline.
So that's the Opel Manta GT butterscotch, brand new theft story.
Wow.
Not only did you steal it, you wrecked it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a rough Thanksgiving weekend.
I was going to say, you're going to screw up big. It's huge.
It didn't go good. So I had a 71 Mach 1 in Florida, and as you know, all the girls in Florida, they use baby oil.
Right, for sun tanning, yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that.
And the Mustang had the sport deck. It had the fold-down rear seats.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the interior of the car is tight quarters. But I had the fortunate... I was fortunate enough to have smudges of baby oil in a certain area in the rear back of that sport deck.
Yeah.
And so I only had to armor half the sport deck back there because it was baby oil.
I'm glad you're keeping this clean, bro.
You're on the ragged edge, you know that. Because we have visuals going that
you're good.
We want to verify it.
Yeah, so I'm begging Tom, please call.
I'm going to have a drink. Screw Tom.
Yeah. We're going to have a drink every time you call.
Yeah, that's right.
A very happy Memorial Day to all of our departed friends and their families. I wish you guys well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bob.
Here.
Thank you.
Have a happy and healthy.
All right, Bob. We'll talk to you soon. All right, we're winding down. We only got about 4 minutes left to this soiree, and then we're going to be out of here for the day. I think this was probably our most successful remotely located show as of
better.
It only took us 2 months to figure it out.
It takes us 2 months to figure anything out on this program.
A little slow like that, yeah. But
That was hysterical. No, it's one of those things because now the time, springtime, everybody's cleaning their vehicles or at least attempting to. And I just saw someone use the oily protectant and I started to ponder. You know, when that happens, it gets ponderous.
Right. Billy G's told me he uses Pledge. He likes to use Pledge, which I've heard also I've heard that in the past that people like to use Pledge on there.
The very the distant past. People that use like motor shellac were using Pledge. I think I have a great uncle that used Pledge on his 38 Buick.
Right. Indian head gasket shellac. No, but I've used Pledge. The thing to do is you don't spray it on you spray it on a rag and then you wipe. That's the way to do it.
Absolutely right. And Pledge is very good. Billy G is definitely on the right track there. It is pretty good. But yeah, you have to use it sparingly.
Right.
You cannot use a lot of it. And like you say, spray it on a rag. You don't go spraying it inside the car. That would be bad.
Right.
Just spray it on a rag and put it on. But yeah, the car cleaning tips from the motor mounts. But I still think there are segments where you can be an Armor All guy and be that way and shine up your Coupe de Ville and everything will be fine. Or you could be a non-Armor All guy but still keep a cool looking, clean vehicle. And I like to put myself in that position because I really haven't. I haven't waxed anything in so long. And I haven't used any protectant on my interior. I just make sure to keep it clean. What I have become in my interior, especially, is a toothbrush guy.
Oh yeah.
Holy moly! I can't tell you, especially the 69 Chrysler. Everything is in a square box. Everything, and it's deep set. You can't get your finger in there like to clean, let's say, the tripometer or the odometer. No, it's in a deep set square box. So you got dirt all around the corners of it. So I'm finding all kinds of different used toothbrushes and all kinds of little brushy things, and getting in there and squeezing in there and scrubbing away those little corners of dirt. So that's been my new thing.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're just about getting ready to get out of here. Kim's going to take over. Stay tuned for Thunder Road, the best of Springsteen and people who've played with the band. Chris, thank you for another great show. I appreciate it as always. I love working with you on this lovely format.
Yes.
And what do we always tell our people not to do?
Don't bring your Armor All home.
Exactly. So for Chris Whitzer, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio, we're out of here. Stay tuned for Kim on 90.3 WHPC. See ya.